reintroduction of David Tennant as the Doctor for the first of the Doctor Who 60th anniversary specials last week was nothing short of an abomination. So with the second of the 3 specials now here, was this any better? Or could the BBC just not help themselves? Spoiler alert, they couldn't help themselves. Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. I can only be as honest as I can possibly be. And I've got to say that this second special of Doctor Who was actually pretty good. I genuinely enjoyed a lot of it. The problem was the BBC just can't help themselves. And there is a colossal problem with ideologues like Russell T Davies, who had 90% of the entertainment there, but the 10% of ramming in your ideology just turns people off. And even though I enjoyed the episode for the most part, I can fully understand and see that this show is doomed. And it's doomed because of the hubris of these people who feel it necessary to ram their ideology in when all they need to do is the 90%. Which is entertain. The show starts on a real bad note as we're introduced to a race-changed Sir Isaac Newton, or as I like to call it, progressive blackface. Because that is essentially what it is. Taking a historical character and then sticking blackface on them because you don't think history is stunning and brave enough. I think this was a move that was purposely made by the BBC because of their inclusion and diversity policy, because the episode was very Doctor and Donna centric with doppelgangers of themselves. Therefore, it was twice the white, and therefore they needed to balance it with progressive blackface. And if you were rolling your eyes at that, just a few moments later, we were greeted with this.
Was it me, or was Isaac Newton hot?
He was, wasn't he? He was so hot. Oh. Is that who I am now?
Yes, Doctor, that's what you are now. Nothing more than a superficial progressive tool to push propaganda onto kids. So that part of the show came across about as subtle as, well, this.
I'm gay.
So if that hasn't already bored the crap out of you, which it did to 250,000 people because that's what the ratings fell by from last week to this week. Fingers crossed on those consolidated numbers, eh? But I guess we're all just ists and phobes, or maybe, just maybe, the people that keep crying that they're so marginalized and victimized are the ones that are constantly preaching from positions of power when the people that they're preaching to just want to watch some good TV. What am I talking about? Of course, we're just all ists and phobes. So now that Russell T Davies has got his sledgehammer stunning and brave out of the way, we actually got into an episode and it started off pretty good. The Doctor and Donna get trapped in a spaceship at the end of the universe. There's no stars. It's literally the void. And they have to figure out a way to get the TARDIS back, which has buggered off. The Doctor figures out how the ship kind of operates and they begin to enact repairs. It's only then when they're assigned their various chores that when they're having their back and forth banter, they realize they're not talking to each other. They're talking to doppelgangers of themselves. It's actually pretty cleverly done as you think you're watching a montage of time passing by as the Doctor and Donna are switching over, conducting repairs on the ship and having a conversation. However, it's actually 2 different rooms that the conversations are happening in, and only then do you realize this isn't a passage of time, this is happening at the same time.
You're right.
My arm's too long. Look.
And I actually stopped watching the show at 1.5 times speed because I was more invested and wanted to know what was going on and what exactly was being said, as opposed to last week when I couldn't get through that shit quick enough. It actually felt like I was watching an episode of Doctor Who and not some all year round Pride Month propaganda which the BBC and many other stations seem to just churn out nowadays. Some funny body moments happen with the doppelgangers, and just when I think I'm on the verge of potentially having fun, the BBC, and Russell T Davies, and Doctor Who, current day Doctor Who's. The thing that destroyed Doctor Who, The Timeless Children, is brought back, and David Tennant's Doctor reflects on the fact that he doesn't know who he is. He's an abandoned black baby that very serenely fell off a cliff and was murdered over and over and over again to unlock the secrets of regeneration by Tecteun. However, because Tecteun was female, that was suddenly stunning and brave because you need more women in STEM. And once again, I'm completely out because that is the one thing which annihilates everything about Doctor Who and was simply brought in to erase the 60-year of white Doctor Who supremacy, I guess. Progressive ideology once again destroying great characters and storytelling. And of course, when I say the word progressive, I actually mean regressive, because that's what it ultimately is. I'm still wearing the t-shirt from the real BBC, aren't I? Crap, let me just get changed.
But what I don't get is, why do they hate us?
Because we just want to be entertained, Donna, not lectured to. And they believe we need to be lectured to and edutained. Then it felt like once again we re-engaged with what the actual episode should have been, and I found myself enjoying it again. A little bit frustrated that it wasn't fully committing to the horror aspect, because I really thought that this episode set itself up for that. It certainly didn't have the bite of something like the Satan's Pit, but still, it was good in as much as it felt like a Doctor Who episode. However, I'm still trying to come to terms with this being a 60th anniversary special and wondering what is special about it. But while I was going through these thoughts, I was once more pulled out as they decided to go into the cockpit and have a discussion about giving pronouns to a floating skeleton in space.
Did they throw him out? Her out? Them out?
Donna, in space, nobody can hear your pronouns. Ultimately, I found this episode a mixed bag. There was definitely fun stuff here for sure, and it was way better than the first episode that we'd had. But I'm using the word episode and not specials because they don't feel that way in the slightest. Compare this to the 50th anniversary, and it's absolutely chalk and cheese. That felt like an event. This feels like filler. Filler until Ncuti Gatwa comes in, and the only way that they could try and make it a little bit more palatable is to bring David Tennant back to the fray. A temporary patch job that isn't actually doing its work. It's already crumbling and falling apart. There is a huge crack in the wall with Doctor Who, and it's a crack which is splitting time and space apart. And with Russell T Davies and the BBC committed to destroying Doctor Who and its 60-year legacy, it doesn't matter if you have a few nice moments or a few fun moments in an episode here or there. It's already lost. You're not going to get the audience back, and you're most certainly not going to develop new fans whatsoever. So with the final special dropping next week, I have to say to myself, what chance does Ncuti Gatwa have as the next Doctor? We've seen the level of writing that Russell T Davies wants to bring to the table. We've seen the ideology crammed in left, right, and center. It's so in your face, it's so on the nose, and it's so off-putting. I don't see the guy standing a chance of having a decent run as the Doctor, which is a shame, because if Russell T Davies could get over his hubris, if he could just get over himself and his ideology and get back to doing what he was amazing at nearly 20 years ago, entertaining people. There could have been something there. I'll see you in the next video. You take care. Bye for now.